Good afternoon. How are we today? It's a bit cloudy outside, very cold, so I'm in here, I'm on my couch, and I'm recording in here today. Firstly, I'd like to address the video I put up last night. I was very angry, I was very emotional, but I have now privated that video because I don't want to cause any more hate or division when things are already so fraught and, I don't want to contribute to any of the hate that is, a big thing, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm doing a video that you've all been waiting for, and it was the Malala video. I'm finally going to do it. So Malala Yousafzai, here I go with it. Now, before I get into her and her story, I kind of want to set a bit of a scene. I kind of want, everybody to close their eyes and, try and imagine the scenario I'm about to set out. Imagine you are 5 years old. You're a 5-year-old girl, and instead of, getting ready for school, you are helping your mother prepare breakfast and food for your brothers so they can go to school. You don't get to go to school, even though you'd love to go to school. Instead, you have to be at home with your mum, helping with household chores, and you are only 5 years old. That is the reality for some girls around the world. They never get the opportunity to go to school. But one girl, she used her voice and she advocated for education to be available to girls all around the world. She comes from Pakistan, and her father actually owned a co-ed school for both girls and boys. But then the Taliban came to Pakistan, and the Taliban are a group of Muslim extremists who believe that all women should be inside the house. They should not be able to leave the house unless accompanied by a male relative. That male relative can only be a father, a husband, or a brother, or an uncle, or grandfather. Malala defied the Taliban. She kept speaking out and saying girls need to be educated. Girls need to be doctors. They need to be teachers. So even though the Taliban were trying to thwart her right to go to school, she openly defied them, kept studying, kept going to school. Even when her school was shut down, she kept studying her books. She also kept speaking out. She did media interviews. She did a diary under an assumed name. But the Taliban, someone worked out her identity, and she started getting death threats, as well as her father, who encouraged her to keep speaking out. Now, one day, she was coming home from school. She was on her school bus, and they stopped at the traffic lights. One man, he got on the bus, And he said, "Who is Malala?" And everyone looked at her. Next thing, she had a bullet going through her head. They shot her in the head. She nearly lost her life. She fought for her life and was later flown to the UK, where she was put in an induced coma. When she awoke, she woke up in a strange country. Her family were not with her at that time, and it was left to the doctors looking after her to tell her what had happened. They didn't know what her prognosis was going to be. They didn't know if she would be blind, if she would be paralyzed. They didn't know. But Malala has since recovered very well. She went on to finish her education in the UK and then went on to Oxford University. She has also written 2 books, which I'm going to try and get links for and link them into the description box. Even though Malala was shot in the head, it never stopped her for fighting for the rights of young women and girls to go to school. To this day, she still continues, and she still spreads awareness of how life really is for girls in male-dominated countries. If you want a role model for your daughters, forget the Kardashians, forget all that. Malala is a true role model. And she is a good example of, I've lost my wording. She is an example of overcoming diversity. Thank you. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. I really hope you have learnt something from this, and I hope that you can take something positive away from this. And I really hope that when you think of using your voice, you think to use it for good, not for evil. Because remember, our tongue can be our most powerful weapon. Thank you.